Mi gente, what's up? Bienvenidos. Welcome to another episode, otro episodio de Hoy en Día TV. Woo! Just like usual, we have another amazing show. Because guess what? With Hoy en Día, the goal is to positively enlighten, educate, motivate, inspire, and entertain you, the viewers and listeners, with each and every episode. And guess what? I have two new amazing co-hosts joining me today. So, yes, and we have another amazing guest, which will be later on the show, but I'm going to bring on my two co-hosts. Welcome, Nadine and Ciandra, to Hoy en Día TV.
Hola.
Hello. Welcome.
Yes, I am excited. So, I'm sure people are going to be like, who are these two lovely ladies? So, who would like to start with introducing themselves, who they are, and what they are about?
I'll start. Yes. Okay. So I'm Ciandra. As you see there on the screen, I'm Ciandra, the actionist, right? Because I'm always putting things into action and getting it done. And a lot of people in my network, they can totally attest to that, right? So a little bit about me. I'm a 20-year Navy veteran, retired now for a little while. And now I'm living my best life as a hashtag civilian. Thank you. I made it, y'all. I made it. I'm on the other side, living life, living la vida loca. I'm a life coach. I'm also not only a life coach, but an employment coach as well. There's a lot of things going on in the news. I'm pretty sure everybody's been kind of down and kind of seeing what's happening. And so I'm here too to get people employed. So, a lot of people would like to work for the federal government, or they did. And so you had to do this whole federal and all that kind of stuff. Well, now it's like the reverse, coming back into the private sector, right? So how do we do that? How do we make that happen? So giving people lots and lots of tips on that. I have a business. I'm a real estate investor as well, with Girls with Gig Real Estate as well. And then also in my own initiative, Inspire for Purpose. So a wealth of creativity and knowledge, and so happy to be here on the show today. Woohoo!
Wow, absolutely. You have a lot to offer, and I'm excited to have you on. And I know this is not just going to be for today, because you're going to be, our co-host with Hoy en Día. So people are going to see more of who Ciandra is, and we're excited for that. Thank you. Nadine, spotlight is on you, my dear.
Yes. Hello, y'all. I am Nadine Barton, a retired Navy veteran of 24 years myself. I'm a 9 times author. Back in the civilian sector, the Navy took most of my adulthood. So I'm here, with you guys. And as I said, I'm a 9 times author. I'm also a travel enthusiast. I'm a travel agent, and I'm a super entrepreneur. So if you need to know more about me later on, I could give you all my information so you guys could follow on. But yes, I like living my best life. Like my sister Ciandra, I met her when we were stationed back in Japan over 20 years ago, many moons ago, and here we are again, like it was just yesterday. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm happy and thankful for Yessie for bringing me on.
Thank you, Nadine. And I'm also excited to have you on. And this is not going to be the last time. You're going to be also an ongoing co-host that more people can see and learn about who you are as well. So I'm excited about that. But out of curiosity, because you both mentioned transitioning from being in the Navy to a civilian, if I'm understanding correctly. So share with me, I'm just curious to hear and understand the story of how that transition happened. And how did you feel when you finally realized, like, wow, I'm a civilian again,
Yeah, so I can start. So, oh my gosh. Can you imagine, being in a job, for the people that haven't been in the military, and you've been in that career for over 20 years? You started that career at a young age, some people 17, 18, and then here you are in your 30s, whatever age you retire or you decide to get out of the military, or your 40s, and you coming back into civilian life. It's not an easy road. So, the military, not just the Navy, we do have things in place where, you have the transition assistant program, which is called TAP class. Ciandra, did they change the name? But I remember it's called the TAP class, where, it helps with transitioning of the military to help you navigate going back into the civilian sector. So, it's not an easy road, and people think that it's all peaches and cream, but some people are really scared coming back into the civilian sector, because all their lives, you're so used to this one thing, and then that panic start coming in. Oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to transition? So we do have those things in place to help you transition back into the civilian sector.
Yeah, Nadine's spot on. For me, in the military, everything is very structured. You have a chain of command. So you know who to go to when things happen. You know how to handle business. So there's there's stepping stones that you kind of take. And so it makes life really kind of easy for you, honestly. Everything is right there on the base, right? At your command or on your ship, wherever you're at in the world. Well, when you come out into the civilian sector, for me, it was very different. And we hear this all the time because I'm here training vets all the time, getting them back into the workforce because now they are coming into where I've already been. And so it's just this big old world out here. So for you, yes, being in the world of acting and, you've been in this whole civilian world, as we call it, like all my life, I've been in the civilian world.
Right. Yeah.
So coming out here, there are so many more things to navigate. You don't necessarily know who the chain of command, who you're supposed to go to, because there's so many different entities and agencies. And so it seems like it's just this huge, big world where just the military was just maybe just a little state in that world. You know what I'm saying? That we had to navigate. But now I have all the continents and all the other states and the cities. So it can be very overwhelming for a veteran. It was overwhelming for me just trying to figure out, what to do next. Being here in this 20-year stint and I've done this and I know how to do this because I go from command or base or duty station, location to location, whether I'm doing it here within the US or doing it abroad, but I'm doing the same thing. And so now I'm out and now I want to transition. Maybe I want to go into something completely different. What does that look like? How do I get there? And so that can be very overwhelming for a veteran, as I said, for myself, and trying to navigate those waters. And there are programs that are out here in the civilian sector, but trying to find those sometimes is like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, and I could to that. And I'm sorry, yes, go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah. No, you probably were reading my mind with a question. So
So perfect example. I just retired, seems like yesterday, July 2021, which was, it's not, oh my God, seemed like it just happened yesterday. So quick story. So transitioning out of the military for me, they did, and things with the military change all the time. So that was 2021. So I'm not sure if they may or they may not still have that program. It's called the Skill Bridge program. Right. So with the Skill Bridge program, it helps you navigate from, just like the top class bringing into Skill Bridge, it helps you navigate from active duty into the civilian sector, where you do have a lot of civilian employees, which employers would bring you on, and you're not getting paid while you're there because you already getting your active duty pay. So you basically doing on the job program per se. Under job program, when I did the Skill Bridge program, I transitioned doing it with Microsoft. So I did that with Microsoft for 3 months, and then from there, I didn't stay on to Microsoft because there were other jobs that I applied for. So I did transition with Microsoft, do on the job training with them, or an internship with Microsoft for 3 months, and then after that, I went on to working with Manpower until 2023. So that program really helped me. Under the Skill Bridge program, it was hiring our heroes, which really helped veterans. If any veterans out there they don't know about the program, they need to get on with the Skill Bridge program, because I know it helped me a lot with my transition.
That is awesome. And you said it's called Skill Bridge?
Skill Bridge, yes.
Skill Bridge, gotcha. And Sandra, you mentioned that you also offer help or have a business with regards to helping veterans. Did I understand that correctly?
So I work with a contracting company that does that, and it's really amazing. I would love to offer this to your viewers. It'd be really, really amazing. And so there's everything from writing your resume, like really writing a good resume. Resumes have changed over time. We're having to deal with the ATS system, which is the applicant tracking system. This whole, software where it's kind of saying, "Oh, you're really, really good. Let's filter you through. You're really, really bad. Let's keep you here in the internet land, kind of floating around, so you don't get through." Right? We do so the resume, the interview. We do salary negotiations. What people fail to realize is that there are 3 components, right, that makes you valuable, that gives you that price tag for your profession. And those are your knowledge, that's your skills, and those are also your abilities. Those are three of the components, right, that's going to determine how much you should get paid, right, for a profession. And a lot of times people just don't know what we kind of do, right? Well, what we used to do was we kind of calculate, okay, I have daycare, I got, my college, I have my mortgage. So you calculate all your stuff and do your budget. You say, okay, I need to probably make about, I don't want to save a little bit, maybe take a vacation. I need to make about 60K. But what people fail to realize is that the mafia is coming for you. Now, who is the mafia? Well, the IRS, right? They are coming with their hands out, right? They're saying, okay, you're working. Okay, make me more money, more money, more money. And so the more money you make, the more money they're going to take. If you're living in America, you know that, okay? And so we teach people to know your value and to know your worth and to know how to put a price tag on it. So where you may go in, and you may negotiate for that $60,000 salary, not knowing that you're really supposed to be getting paid $80,000, right? And so you and me, as a business owner, am I going to tell someone like, wow, you just lowballed yourself? Heck no. I'm going to save more money in my pocket because this is my business. And so that extra 20K that I just saved, now I can go buy me another property or go on a vacation, get a new car. You see what I'm saying? So it's not bad. As a matter of fact, all business should be good business. But if I'm making more money for my business, that's a good thing. It's not my fault that you didn't know your value and that you didn't come in to negotiate property. NPR, National Public Radio, I always like to give sources, right? So you want to fact check because there's a lot of fake news out there. There's a lot of fake news out there, okay? So NPR say that we leave about $1.5 million in our lifetime on the table. One, because we don't negotiate properly or we fail to negotiate at all. Sometimes we don't even know how to negotiate because like I said, a lot of us, we don't know. So yeah, we go, we teach all these classes, we do networking, we do that elevator pitch, that 30-second elevator pitch, right? Being able to talk about who you are. This is one of the times in your life where you want to kind of toot, beat, your own horn when you're trying to get that job. Things of that nature. So I would love to offer that too. Hey, the audience here, it's a valuable resource. And people, you need to know your value. You need to know your worth.
Absolutely. I agree.
I'm so glad you shared that, especially with regards to taxes, because I am looking it up right now. It looks like the no tax on overtime part of GOP and Trump's bill is going to be taking place, which means that there's not going to be taxes on overtime or tips. Have y'all heard about that? Since you mentioned taxes, Sandra, I'm just sharing that out there, which is that's a win.
Of employees. And so the people that, get tips, like bartenders and waiters and people like that, it is on a different scale. That's why they don't make the minimum wage. A lot of people don't know that the federal government, right, they set the minimum wage. But here's the thing, the states have the authority to go above the minimum wage. They can't go below what the federal mandate is, but they can go above. California is a state in particular where you will see that they typically pay more, but you got to pay more to live in California, right? You got to pay for the sunshine, right? It never rains in Southern California. Okay. You got to pay for that sunshine. But even with the money that they get paid there in California, it's almost like a minimum wage because it still isn't enough. I lived in California for about 8 or so years, and San Diego is a beautiful place. If I were to go and purchase a home, in California, just say like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just a basic, maybe 1,700 square feet, I'm going to be in the millions, right? I'm not going to be in the hundreds of thousands. I'm not going to be in that 6-figure. Yeah. You're going to easily gravitate to that 7-figure mark.
And I'm glad you brought that up too, because I'm looking it up right now. Cost of living in California. And so I'm looking at salary.com. And let's see what they're stating here.
And that's one of the tools that we use with the Department of Labor, because the Department of Labor is the one that pays us, right, to go out and teach all these employment classes. And salary.com is one of the tools that we use to have people go and figure out, right, how much they should get paid, right? And then also employers use that tool as well to go on to figure out how much they should actually pay you. So if you're using that, and you can break this thing out by your education, you can break this thing out by your experience, right? All of these things, okay? you can break it out even down to the level of how many people you want to report to. And so when you put that in there, and this is national, right? So when you put your information, your metrics in there, it's going to give you that bell curve. It's going to show you the low, the median, and the high. And then when you put your metrics in, it's going to show you how much you're going to make for your state, right? Because you put in your state, you put in the job that you're looking for. And then it's going to tell you how. Now, here's the thing. On the salary.com, you might make less than the actual national average because that depends on your location. So we tell people it's very important to determine too, when you're looking for employment, you definitely have to take into consideration the location because not all locations pay the same, right? I can be doing this job here in North Carolina and you're doing the job there in Florida, and you can be making way more money than me just because you're in a different state. You can make more money just based on counties. You know, I just go a couple of blocks over, I'm in a different county, and they may make $10,000 more than the county in which I'm living in. So do make sure that you check that out as well when you're looking for employment and things of that nature. Living Wage, I think that's a site that's put out by MIT, and MIT is a great university, right? So they actually go on in real time, and they literally just updated the website here, February 2025. So you can go on to Living Wage and you can put it, you can see how, like if it's 2-parent home, you know, 2 parents working and the children, it'll give you a breakout as to how much your salary actually needs to be. And it'll go in, it can give you the breakout for the states and things of that nature as well.
Wow, very helpful. Yes, I love all this knowledge that you're just providing. This is beautiful. I love it. Yes, this is exactly what the people need to hear, to be aware, to understand. And that this is why we have Hoy en Día TV. And I'm so honored that I have these 2 lovely ladies here to help continue that conversation because they're sharing knowledge that I don't really have. They have the knowledge to share. So this is beautiful. I love it. Yes. Also, in this conversation about just wages in general is a good segue to our guest. And the reason why is because this individual is a professional actor. And being a professional actor is challenging because you have to depend on bookings. Not every booking is going to pay the same. And I'm speaking from experience, by the way, being a professional actor myself. Whether it be commercials, you're going for the same role that 100 other people are going for. You know, there's so many challenges when it pertains to the acting industry, entertainment industry. And so this is a good segue with regards to just the compensation piece of that. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our special guest here. So born in Danville, VA, this special guest was inspired by performances that he saw on television and would decide to eagerly mimic those performances. He added his own unique spin, and he's a testament of his natural talent and creativity. So our special guest is known for his lead role as Malachi in the multi-award-winning web series Lover's Lane, which I was honored to also be a part of. So if you haven't caught Lover's Lane, definitely check it out. And he has built an impressive career stepping into the professional acting world. He started back in 2009. So over the years, he starred in more than 10 stage productions, numerous web series, short films, feature films, TV shows. So, yes, he is definitely working out here. And among his standout projects is a film, Reindeer Games, which is currently streaming on NBC Peacock, Amazon, Tubi, and alongside other films which he plays a leading role. So his dedication and talent has definitely not gone unnoticed, and that's the reason why we have this special guest here today with us. And he has earned 8 acting awards and received multiple nominations, solidifying his reputation as a powerhouse performer. And so beyond his accolades, this individual's ultimate mission is to inspire others to chase their dreams fearlessly. So go for your dreams, pursue that dream, because he is definitely that living testament. He pushed forward and he's successful at it. So no matter the obstacles or options or opinions of others, you can do it. His journey serves as a reminder that with perseverance, passion, and authenticity, anything is possible. So welcome to Hoy en Día TV, our special guest today, Kevin. Kevin Stone. Sorry, Kevin. My computer froze for a bit. Kevin, welcome to Hoy en Día TV.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
We're excited to have you. That bio was.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us, who is Kevin? Other than obviously I shared who you are, but tell us a little bit more about happened that we may not know?
That you may not know. Well, if you don't know, something you may not know. I recently became a cat owner. I have a cat named Sunny Day, and she has like been controlling my life. She's an orange tabby cat, and I got her tucked away quietly now because she will run all over the apartment. Outside of that, I love to work out. I just came from the gym before I got here, and I'm also a gamer. I love to play video games. So things about me.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
gaming too. Like when I have some downtime, I love playing Call of Duty. I love playing The Division.
Okay.
I love playing what's the other one? Far Cry 6 when they're out in I think it's Colombia. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the one with Giancarlo Esposito, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What system do you have? Do you have Xbox or do you have PlayStation?
Oh, I'm team PlayStation over here. I got a PlayStation 5. So,
Yeah. I'm team Xbox.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Nadine, are you a gamer too? I saw you say something.
No, I say all the gamers. I did like this earlier because I'm allergic to cats.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
You know, my husband and my kids, they game all the time. And
Okay.
so it's nice to see. Yes, you know, you got females on here gaming and stuff. I'm just like, I'm so over these games. I'm like, they're the devil. We just got to get off these games.
Hey,
I think because
I
it's
recently
overdue,
just got
you
back
know?
into it.
You did.
I
You
just got back into yeah, because I spent a lot of time like acting. Like I just would let it like sit and collect dust, and I was like, last year I kind of like got back into it and started getting games, and it really like can take you away like the stress of the day or whatever. Just hop on the game and play the game.
That's true. You know, my son came in early. I didn't get a chance to finish watching it, but he found some little YouTube short or something and is talking about gaming because he's always trying to prove me wrong. Because so he's always bringing me the positive. You know, on this show, we're bringing you the positive. Okay, we're going to try to
Right.
reframe those mind frames. So he's always bringing me the positive because I'm all like, it's rotting your brain. It's no benefit to you with this, you know. And he's like, no, mommy, no. And he's 8, right? So he's like, I need you to watch this. So he sent it to me. So I'm going to watch it later. I'm pretty sure it's case.
I mean, you know, growing up, they would always say, you know, like if you're playing like the violent games, you're gonna become a murderer or something like that. I play Grand Theft Auto. I don't even like guns, so you know, I don't think I'm gonna be a murderer, you know. But I mean, you know, they can be good, just in moderation. They can be good.
In moderation, in moderation.
I played
What's your favorite game? Yeah, see, what's your favorite game? What do you like? Do you have a few that you play?
Yeah, so right now I'm really into that Far Cry 6. It's really addicting. So I'm really into the open world. And so what that means is that Far Cry and The Division is open world. And let me focus on The Division because that's my favorite one, to be honest with you. I'm an agent. So this is post-apocalyptic. I'm an agent, so you have the opportunity to create your little avatar however you want it to be. And my avatar looks completely different than mine. Like she has tattoos, she has short hair. She's really like, you know, like she's like I call her a little thug, a little thug woman. She's bad. She is like, yeah, like you don't want to mess with her type of bad because she might do something to you. But anywho, so but she's tough and but she does good though. So she's the mission of the game is to help people. So there's a group of different bad people. There's the people that are called the flamethrowers, and they try to burn up houses and people and loot. And then there's the people with the guns, with the gangs. And so me as an agent, one out of many agents, I help people, I save people. So if I see somebody in distress, I go over there and kill the bad guy and save the good person.
Okay.
So I'm like the police a little bit in the game, but you know, I do the check and balances. But so it's fun, you know, it's good to in a rewarding way to help people even in the game. And then get rid of the bad, or hopefully they can turn into good if they decide to live. But you know, it's a game, so hey.
I love it. You're a hero. You're a hero. Shiro. You're Shiro.
I would have never taken you as a gamer, so I learned something new about you.
Right.
That's so funny because a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that. I'll be honest, there's a lot of things that I do that when I tell people, they're like, what? Really? You? I'm like, yeah. Why not me? Like You
That's
know,
cool.
so it's good.
Yeah.
We're getting to know each other even here on OAND on TV.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, going back to your acting, you did start in 2009, but it sounds like you also always had a passion for it, even as a child growing up. Tell us about
Mhm.
your experience with that and how you really realized that, you know what, acting is really something I want to pursue.
Yeah, so growing up, I was a very, very extremely shy kid. I mean, even for like show and tell, I couldn't present what I had for show and tell. I would whisper in my teacher's ear and she would say it. I was that shy. Um, and I hated public speaking and all that, but I knew that I loved what I would see on television and in movies. Like I'd go to the movie theater, I'd see a movie. I remember going to see Crooklyn as a kid in the theater, and I came out the theater and that movie. I mean, I came out of the theater and that movie like really like hit me, and I was just like, I wanted to do that. And so I was just remembering some of the scenes that were in the movie, and I was trying to reenact them. And then I would see shows on television, and I would try to reenact those scenes. But I was like, I don't want to be exactly like how they do it. I want to put my own little spin on it. So going through school, there was always auditions for plays and everything, and I never auditioned because again, I was too shy. So I would see the plays, but I would never audition. And I really didn't get into acting and like I guess really until after high school. Um, and that was in 2009. I actually went to a mega church at the time, and they were holding auditions for their drama team or drama ministry, and I really wanted to be a part of it. And I was like, okay, God, this is what I want to do. I know that I'm really really shy, but I know that this is something that just keeps tugging at my heart, and I don't know what else I want to do. This is the one thing that I know I want to do. And so I was like, I pulled in the parking lot and I said a prayer in the car and I said, God, if you hold my hand and walk me in there, I will not go back because I know if it's just me, I'm going to get back in the car and I'm going to drive back home. So I said, if you hold my hand and walk me in here, I will do this. And I walked in there prepared to have to audition. I didn't have to audition. They welcomed me with open arms, and we started getting ready for a play that they were going to put on like the following year. And it was a play called Tomorrow. And they were working with me. You know, they're very patient. And this was tough because I was like, I never acted in front of anybody besides like in kindergarten. I played in a Thanksgiving play. I played a turkey in a Thanksgiving play. That was the only thing I ever did. and I and I really didn't have anything to say in that. But you know, I was just like, so this is like the first real legit acting job I've ever had. And so the night of the show comes up, and this is a lead character. The night of the show comes up, and I got on the stage, and there were 1,100 people in the audience. And so you're taking someone who was very very shy, and now he's going to perform in front of 1,100 people. And so I just did what I rehearsed, and the people loved it. And then I remember after that play, the next day we had to come back and like break down the set and everything. And I just broke down crying because I said I couldn't believe that God actually did what he did. He showed up and he showed out. And ever since then I was like, okay, I have to keep doing this because I love this feeling. And so from there I started saying, okay, what else can I do to act? So at the time, you know, I didn't really know about casting sites or anything like that. So I jumped on Craigslist and I saw what I could find up there. And I saw that someone named Tamika Morris, she was casting for a play. And this was a play called The Waiting Room. It was a Christian play, or yeah, gospel play. And I was playing, auditioning for a Jamaican character. I'd never done a Jamaican accent a day in my life. I'd only seen I'd only seen movies. And so I walked in that audition and she was like, yeah, so this character's Jamaican. And I was like, oh, because I didn't know the character was Jamaican. They had the breakdown for the character, but I didn't know he was Jamaican until I got there. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. So they gave me, you know, the sides, and they gave me a minute to go and try to prepare this character. And I walked in there and I just did what I seen on television, and I booked that role. And and yeah, so I did a lot of.
Hear that Jamaican accent, by the way.
You want to hear this? I knew you were gonna ask.
And they needed Jamaican, so.
Okay,
Yeah,
so let me see if I can remember the line. One of the lines was, "Me don't remember dying, and I don't think tonight is the night me gonna die."
Okay, everything I
Okay, we did good, didn't we?
Wow.
And so again, I had no dialect coach, anything like that. I just saw,
Really?
Jamaicans on television. Yeah.
Wow.
And so from there yeah. And so from there she did a web series called Broken, and I had a role in that. And then we did other things like radio show, online radio show, and from there I interviewed people who were in the industry, and I got connected to a guy named Carlton T. Clay, which is how Lover's Lane came about. Because I went to audition in Atlanta for another project of his that fell through, and he was like, you came all the way to Atlanta. I can't just have you not work. I can't just not work with you because I had booked that role in that project. And so he was like, I'm working on another project. It's called Lover's Lane, and I have you in mind for the lead role of Malachi. And I was like, wow. And so I did that show. We did 6 seasons of that show. I think 50 episodes. Yeah, yeah. And so I've been working with him a lot ever since. He did his first rom-com movie, Reindeer Games, which we talked about earlier. Um, that we did that during the pandemic around like 2021 in the summer. It's a Christmas film, but we shot it in the summer, in July and August of 2021, and that really like took off. I got nominated for some awards and for an award in Hollywood, and it was some.
Wow.
I didn't win. I lost to Taj Mowry, Tia and Tamara's younger brother. He had a movie out at the time,
But you
and
were nominated.
I was nominated. Yeah, so
Yes.
it was just it was an honor to be nominated in a state that I have rarely been to. I hadn't been to California in over a decade. So to get recognized out there was an honor. And yeah, I've been doing things ever since, just constantly trying to work and constantly build my resume.
That is awesome.
Impressive.
That is awesome.
Thank
And your accent was amazing, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you.
I
Thank
approve as a Jamaican on here. I approve.
Oh, thank you. After the first time I did that, it was a Jamaican person in the audience, and she came up to me and she was like, "You sound just like my uncle." And I was like, "Oh well."
I love it. Yes, 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 yes. So, ladies, I have a couple of questions, but I'm going to allow you the opportunity if one of you have a question that you want to ask Kevin before I ask my question. So,
Yeah, I did have a question because knowing, you're talking about how shy you were and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So are you still kind of shy, even like even like all these years, right? You've been out there, you've been doing this, like you're a name, like, are you still kind of shy when you're, getting on the screen and
Um,
all that stuff?
I don't know if I wouldn't say I'm shy. I do get like the butterflies, but I use those butterflies because I feel like if I get the butterflies, then something great's about to happen. If I don't get them, then I'm a little concerned. Like, okay, is this
Ah,
what's gonna happen? Like, am I gonna bomb? Like, what's gonna happen? But
ah.
yeah, I use that energy now, and I try to channel it into the character.
Okay, that's really good. I'm glad you said that
Yeah.
because now you said that. Now I got another question. So
Okay.
my questions got questions. Okay, but knowing you said like it's kind of like a tell for you. Hearing you say
Mhm.
that, the self-awareness of it all, right?
Mhm.
So you saying like yeah, you get the butterflies. It's probably gonna be great, but if you don't, so have you seen that? Has that been like a pattern? Like when you do get the butterflies versus when you don't get the butterflies? Like
Yeah. For me, I don't get the butterflies normally on film, but like when I was doing theater early in my career, like hearing that audience out there, you get those butterflies in your stomach because you're like, okay, there's no chance to mess up. If you're with film and television, you can do takes, multiple takes. With theater, you get one shot. So if you forget your lines, or if somebody else in the scene, your scene partner, if they forget their lines, you have to find a way to bring that back because the audience is waiting for you to respond. And they're like, they paid their tickets, they paid their money to get in here. They want to see a show. So with theater, I always get those butterflies, but then I always make sure that I just bring that into the character, and it really helped my improv. Like when I'm doing film and television, having that improv that I learned from theater is what helps me in film and television.
That's really
amazing.
good. Yeah, that's good. That's great. And then having the dichotomy of it all, because I'm not an actress, right? So yes, you were in it, right? You guys do this every day. Never really. I mean, now that you say it, I'm thinking about it because I've been to the different, to the theater to see the plays, and you're right. And we get the one time, and our eyes are glued on, like we're waiting,
Yeah.
So maybe it's tougher, to be, like that one
Oh,
shot.
yeah.
So yeah. Really, really great.
Theater's definitely tougher.
Wow.
Yeah, theater, because I travel with the National Alzheimer's Association in collaboration with G. Davis TV and Films doing theater.
Oh
And
yeah,
yes,
G
it is
Davis.
tough. G Davis, yes. Shout out to G Davis TV. You definitely have to be on your toes. There's opportunity for improv because the goal is, yeah, you're going to stick to what the script says, but then if you don't want dead air there, so you have to
Right.
improv to make sure that what you're saying makes sense and that the other person's picking up to make sure that they can have a response, keeping it natural, right? So yes,
Right.
theater in the live setting is definitely, I mean, it's fun. I actually love theater, to be honest, but it is challenging at the same token. It's one of those where you have to really pick up on your improv skills for sure.
Yeah, I remember one time on the last play I did, I was supposed to have my cell phone in my hand, and I had left it back behind the stage. So I had to figure out a way to get to my phone without, messing up the experience for the audience. So I was just improvising and saying, because I was talking to my wife on the play, and I was saying how, I'm like, you always leave my phone in the bedroom. I need you to go get that for me. So I went, I went to the bedroom. I went to the back, grabbed it real quick. Somebody, well, actually, a stagehand had it, and they handed it to me off stage, and I kept the scene going.
That's smart.
Like,
Yeah.
great on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pressure.
That
That's
is
good.
smart. Yes. Nadine, did you have any questions for Kevin before I ask my questions?
Yes, I do. So I know there are a lot of actors that are probably watching right now. So my question
Mm.
is, Kevin, how do you approach audition? Like, to stand out? How do you approach auditions to stand out?
Okay. So to stand out, I always want to use depending on what the project is, because some projects don't allow you to do this or don't want you to do this. They want you to stick strictly to the script. But I always try to do a moment before and a moment after. And what I mean by that is you get the sides for an audition. And there's one way that everybody's going to see when they see the script or the sides, they're going to see the audition a certain way. And 85-90% of the people are going to do that audition that way that they see it. So what I like to do is I like to add in a moment before what happened immediately before that scene and what's going to happen directly after that scene, because nobody's going to know that. Nobody whoever else is auditioning for that role, they're not going to know what I think the character's doing before the scene or what I think he's doing after. So I add my moment before, just a few seconds, and then a few seconds after of what the character was doing before and after that scene started. And that also stands out to casting because they're seeing the same scene maybe thousands, of times that day. And so it can get redundant seeing the same scene over and over and over again. So you want to make sure that you stand out. So you add your moment before and your moment after to stand out.
That's awesome. Great answer. Great response.
Yes, absolutely. That is a great response. And with that in mind, the question that I have for you, Kevin, is pertaining to selection of role, because the actors I've spoken with, the majority feel like they have to say yes to everything. I personally believe that you don't have to say yes to everything, especially if, like for me, for example, I don't do nude. I don't do kissing. I don't do none of that because I respect myself and I respect my partner. And also when my child gets older, he's going to see these things. I don't want him to have that image of me. So that's just me as an actor. So would you agree that a fellow actor, they don't have to say yes to everything? You disagree with that notion? What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, I definitely agree. You do not have to accept every role. If you don't feel morally right about the role, do not take it just to have something to add to your resume. Because if it's film and it's on like a streaming platform or even YouTube, that's out there forever. So that can always be seen. So you have to think about that. I know for me, I don't want to play a character that, in a dress. I mean, that's just something I don't need to put on a dress and he'll, I don't want, that's not what I want to do. And I don't want to be seen that way. So I'm not going to do that. So I think that it's very important that you don't do anything if you feel in your heart it's not something that you agree with, do not take that role and don't feel pressured into that. If the director is making you feel pressured into taking this role because it's going to change your life, I've heard several times, they said this one right here is going to be the one that changes you and takes you out there.
Right.
It hasn't yet. That doesn't mean that there's not a role coming that will take me out of here, but it hasn't taken me out of here yet.
Right.
So you do not have to take a role just because you're being pressured to, or if you feel wrong about it, don't take it.
I have a perfect example of that. So during the election, right?
Hmm.
Somebody, a casting member, reached out to me to do a commercial shoot, and this was around the time Cece, you were coming here to Atlanta. So the role was you're supposed to be in a park. I'm supposed to be in a park talking to this other young lady. She's Caucasian, and I have a son, watching my son run around. And I'm like, I didn't totally read the full slides, and I'm like, oh yeah, Cece's coming to town. I could use her kid and bring Iz to the park, so I could use him in the commercial. So when I read all the slides, or the sides rather, the lady was saying, "Oh yeah, she was trying to step out on her husband, and she was talking about trying to go on the other side, which is trying to be like bi." And I'm like, and I
Mm.
told the lady was in Miami. I said, "I'm not comfortable doing that,"
Right.
and said initially, I told her, I said I don't have a white friend here. I could ask my neighbor, and I don't have any kids. But then I remember Cece was coming. I could use Iz, and she was like, I'd rather say, I'd rather believe you if you say you didn't have any kids. Like, lady, what are you implying over here? I was like, it
Crazy.
took everything out of me not to step out of character. I told her my truth, and I said, have a great day. I'm not interested.
That's how
It
you do
sounds
it.
like, Kevin, that was good. I remember Nadine shared that with me, and it sounds like for both you, Yessie, and you also, Kevin, that you all have a great foundation. What we typically
Hmm.
see, just me, just watching you all on the big screen, right? We become kind of enamored, right? You kind of take us away from our day to day, and so we just get to kind of decompress for a moment and just kind of live in your world, right? And kind of seeing how you're
Hmm.
maneuvering and doing these different things. But a lot of times, what you see in Hollywood is that the morals and the values, right? They are so just far what there's just some things like you say,
Hmm.
I'm just not going to do certain things. And I
Yeah.
believe, just me, I believe if people would stick to that, right, it could really choose the types of things that we're even seeing, the things that we're taking into our eye gates. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff out there that I'm like, sometimes there's just not any good TV on. Everything has like
Yeah.
tons of profanity. Even with like children's shows, I gotta vet the shows before my kid even watch it. It's just a lot
Hmm.
of the morals and values here in America, and even just probably abroad over the whole universe. It's just actors are just like, let me just take this to make the money. People
Right.
need to
Right.
understand what you two are saying. Like it's more than that, right?
Yes.
Just like if
It
she
is
has a child
definitely.
and she doesn't want her child to like, Mom, that was you did that. You see, it's an embarrassment. Some things can be a really, embarrassing, and then kids could get bullied for that stuff. Oh, I saw your
Hmm.
mom and all her splendor and glory.
Yeah. Right.
Every
Yeah.
day at 8 p.m. Central Time. Check her out. It's like, So I love that you two, male and female, seeing it come from both components, are saying like, yeah, we're just going to say no to some of these roles. And sometimes that's all you need to say, because no is a complete sentence, right? It can
It
be a
is.
period, or it can be that exclamation point. So I just want to, clap my hands. In the military, we say bravo Zulu for a job well done. I want to say
Yeah.
bravo Zulu to you two for doing that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate it.
And just a note on that, yes, that commercial was supposed to be for Kamala Harris, right? And at the end,
Hmm.
they said like, it's women supporting women. Like, I mean, apples and oranges. What does that have to do with? But that's neither
Yeah.
here nor
Right, right. Oh gosh. You both, the three of you are just spot on just with everything. Sandra, you nailed it. A lot of actors feel that they need to take it for the money, and I get it. A lot of them, they do paycheck to paycheck. I respect that, right? But then in between, up until you get the big roles where you're going to become the next J Lo, the next Kevin Hart, what have you,
Hmm.
do other things, start a business, right?
Yeah.
Or get a side part-time job to help you with the flow until you get to that point where you're making all this money. So yes,
Hmm.
don't take it. I highly recommend not to take a role if you don't feel comfortable just because it's about the money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No. And with that in mind, Kevin, as a fellow actor, I've noticed a lot of people assume that every role is going to pay. When I first started, a lot of the roles that I got, it didn't pay, but the value that I did see in it, it was one, it helped me build my reel, which that's pretty much your
Hmm.
resume, right? Your reel. You want to see that footage. Two, it helped me get set etiquette, set experience, connectivity with other fellow actors. There's more value, I find, in that versus always expecting a paycheck. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think early on, I would take the roles that weren't paid because I didn't have a lot on the resume, and I wanted to get that resume and that experience to show future casting directors and everything that I have experience on sets and that I have experience not just being an extra because I wouldn't put that on my resume at all, but I have experience actually acting on other projects. So, I would take the free projects because nobody's really going to pay a new actor unless it's like a big union job and it's just your first time. They're not going to take a first time actor and give them a lot of money. So I did a lot of free projects. And then every now and then I'll do a free project for somebody who's like a friend of mine. I'll do that. But it's not going to be like, a week long free project. Like, don't use me now. You know what I'm saying? A day or two I'll do for free, but don't think you're going to get a week or two out of me for free. I still have bills to pay. Uh, but yeah, definitely, when you're starting out, get the experience that you can. And even when you're starting out, still don't take the roles that you don't feel good about, but get the experience that you can, get as much time as you can on set. Especially, I always tell people, new actors, to start out being an extra on projects, especially on like the union projects, because you get to see the big crews and see how they talk, and you get to learn the lingo that the directors and the crew use. I did a lot of extra work starting out. When I was beginning acting, I did extra work for this film called Legacy of a White-tailed Deer Hunter. Legacy of a White-tailed Deer Hunter, and this was a Netflix film starring Josh Brolin. And for those who don't know who Josh Brolin is, he plays Thanos in the Marvel Universe, and Danny McBride from Righteous Gemstones. So this was a comedy, and we filmed it in the mountains of North Carolina. And this is it was so long ago I can't even remember the year, but it came out, and it came out on Netflix, and the whole scene that I was in got scrapped. So, but I got that experience on set, and I got to actually talk to Josh Brolin for just a brief second, and I got that experience on set, seeing how the crew was and on these bigger projects. So yeah, definitely get that experience on set as much as you can before you try to get the line, get a speaking role.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Nice. That's good.
And with that in mind, the investment of acting classes and coaching. So I also invested. I traveled to California, New York, Texas, etc., Florida, online classes to make sure that I was really honing in and learning a lot of the skills when it pertained to acting. A lot of people, for whatever reason, they don't seem to correlate the importance of getting that educationally, or similar to when you invest in a 4-year degree or a master's degree, what have you, you're still investing in education. What are your thoughts about investment when it pertains to acting classes, education pertaining to acting?
You definitely want to continue to. I don't care. Okay, there are the greats like even Denzel Washington. He has an acting coach, and this man has 2 Oscars. Just because you're in Hollywood, your A-list does not mean you need to stop training because you can always get better. Even if you have an Oscar, you can still get better. I know I take online acting classes. I actually want to get into the physical classes as well, but I've been doing online classes for the past 3 or 4 years, and I actually started late. I actually got more on the job training than I did the acting classes, but I always knew that I wanted to take acting classes because I wanted to get better. And I've seen what the acting classes have done for me in my career since I've taken them. Like I've grown as an actor. So it's very important that you continue to train and invest in yourself because now a lot of auditions are self-tape. So with me, you see, I have the setup here. I have a backdrop. You got it. So if you're self-taping, you have to audition in your wherever you are. So I have this. I invested in the backdrop. I invested in the ring light, the cameras, and all that, and the lights to make sure that when I'm on camera auditioning, they can hear me and they can see me clearly. Because it's not just about acting; it's also about how the setup looks as well. So I invested in that. You have to save up the money if if you can. If you can't get somebody to get you the equipment that you need, save up the money. I still work a job, so I still get that paycheck, and I use that to invest into my acting career. I'm always trying to invest in my acting career. I have a bunch of acting books that I've purchased over the years, and that I go through. One of the books that I highly recommend is The Power of the Actor. It's like what they call the Actor's Bible. So look that up, The Power of the Actor. I'm looking now. I have like a little bookshelf that I have a bunch of acting books on. But yeah, so I definitely invest into my career, and I think it's very, very important. If you want to be taken as a serious actor, the more you train, the better you get. Um, if you think about the greats, like even in basketball, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they were always training to get better, and that's how they got to those GOAT statuses because they constantly trained. They were working when nobody else was. So you have to continue to work. You have to continue to train because it's not just about being on the set; it's what you're doing in your downtime as well.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Ladies, any follow-up questions for Kevin?
No,
Yeah,
I don't have it.
you're talking about investing in the, yourself and the education and all that. And I don't really know anything about the world of acting, except that I watch
Mm.
y'all. And I say, I like this one, I don't like this one so much. And this one's pretty and this one's not so
Yeah.
much, that kind of thing. Nice bod, not so much. Enough. Okay. But no, seriously, like when it comes to like your, the equipment, like you said, investing in yourself and things of that nature. And I'm sure there is, but because I'm a novice in this thing, like what are some what do you think, some of the groups that you're in, right? For you all to support
Mhm.
each other, because I know it can be very difficult when you maybe you don't get the gig and you thought you were really great, or and maybe you should have gotten it, but you were looked over. That what are some of the tools that's in your repertoire, right? As far as like, you know, the group that you're in, like those support groups, some of you may come together collectively to run lines. And so what is that like? How can people get connected? Where do they go to begin to, try to help build themselves as far as their education and stuff like that?
Oh well, of course there's a lot of big network on like social media, Facebook that has a lot of different groups. One group that I highly recommend on Facebook is it's called Talent Managers for Actors. So if you're an actor and you're trying to see about getting an agent or the steps it takes to become an actor, that's a good group. They have a lot of information there in that group with a lot of people who are in the industry, from casting directors, managers, working actors who are on like some of the big shows today. I got my first agent through that group uh, years ago, probably like 2018, because they do a thing called Representation Sunday, which is the first Sunday of every month. And what that is that they ask you to put out your actor's resume, your headshots, your demo reel, send all that information in a post. And then if a casting direct, I mean not a casting direct, if an agent sees it and likes your look and likes your package, they'll reach out to you and they want to sign you to the agency. So that happened for me. Um, so that's a good group. Again, talent managers for actors on Facebook. As far as for like when I don't book roles, I do have my friends who are actors who continue to help build me up. I remember there was a role. I don't even know if I want to say this because I don't want to put this person out there. I've never said this person's name publicly because he is a friend of mine. I'm not upset at all. Actually, when I saw that they booked this role, I was happy for them. So there's a movie that came out. I'm not sure when it came out. But the Harriet film with Cynthia Erivo. I auditioned for a role in that film, and I got a call back, and I did not book that. And then I looked and saw that a friend of mine, Joshua T. Shipman, he booked the role that I had auditioned for. And I've said the story before, but I never said his name and I never said what the role was. But like I said, I was so like when I saw that he did it, I was like cheering like I had booked the role because I was so happy that he got the role because I was like I know him and I know how hard he works. And I also think about um, how if I don't book something and somebody else does, I don't know their journey. So I'm never one to be envious of somebody else, like looking at the acting career. I don't know what they had to go through to get to where they are today. So that's one thing I always keep in my mind. Don't be jealous of anyone. Don't be envious because, yeah, you worked hard, but you don't know what they had to go through. They may have spent their last dime to get to that audition, or they may have to not eat for a week to make sure that they could save enough money to be able to get to this audition or do whatever. So I always try to keep in my head that I don't know their journey and they earned that role.
Absolutely,
Awesome. You're a
absolutely.
great guy, Kevin. You're awesome. You're
Well, thank you. I try to be. I appreciate it.
And I can say something on
It's
that
so
too
amazing.
because I do background here in Atlanta, and just
Mm.
the other day, last week, we some of the other cast members and we were talking, and we are just talking about some of the people that they were just like boring and pushing through everything just so that they could get that camera time. And I'm like, I'm a firm
Mm.
believer that when it's your time, it will be your time, and only God knows when the time is right. So you don't have to be
Definitely.
pushing and boring your way through. Like if Tyler Perry is gonna see you when he wants you, he gonna be like, okay, I want you. So you don't have to push and bore. I mean, I'm a very humble person, and I don't like force myself onto anything or onto people. So I'm a firm
Yeah.
believer that when it's your time, it will be your time.
Exactly. If somebody that I know close to me books something big, I'm like, okay, I'm right there in the same area that they are. So that blessing is coming my way soon too. So that's how I feel. Like, okay, he booked this role, something's about to come my way, and something did come my way. So I mean, it's just like you just have to constantly just feel that you don't know that person's journey, so don't get envious of them because a blessing's coming your way. If it hits them, then you're in the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
It's that anointing oil, right? There's enough. The king is being
Right
anointed,
there.
but then the overflow, it goes to, yeah. So you got
Right
some oil.
there.
You got some oil. All the viewers out there, you get oil. You get
Yeah.
oil.
Right. I like
And it's
on whether I know you or not. I love cheering people on, you
Yeah,
know.
and it's enough roles out here for everybody. Like that, just because they booked something doesn't mean they took something away from you. Like there's always a role out there. This
Absolutely.
is one profession that's never gonna run out of work, and it's one
Yeah,
profession that I said you can always do, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are. They need babies, they need elderly people, they need people my age or younger or a little bit older. Acting needs people of all ages and all shapes, sizes, and everything because you're playing people, that may be real or you want them to appear to be real. So you're playing different characters and you're gonna need every type. There's not one type that acting would not need.
That's
definitely.
a good point. That is a good point. At any point, have you ever felt like throwing in the towel where you feel tired? You're like, this is not going the way I'm thinking it should be going. And if you have felt that way, what have you said to yourself or what have you done that would continue to push you forward to keep going and keep striving for what you want to see yourself be or, where you want to see yourself go?
Yeah, I remember this is probably about 2012. I had thought about giving up, and this again, I was like only like 3 years into my acting career, but I felt like giving up because I felt like I was not getting, you know, I wasn't getting anything, and I was just like I just keep trying and nothing's really happening, and I actually got to the point where I was in a bit of a depression to the point where I almost wanted to take myself out of here. And yeah, it got that bad because it was just like I felt like everyone around me was constantly getting good news, and I was just like, well, where's my good news? Am I being forgotten? Like, am I being looked over? What am I doing wrong? And again, I had never had a day of training in my life. I had never, stepped foot on the set. I didn't have any experience, and I'm sitting here, any like professional experience, and I'm complaining as if I've been doing all the things that I need to do. So what I did was, well, one, I had my friends and my family to help pull me out of that funk, and then I started doing the things that I needed to do to actually start being seen as a real legit, actor. So I started looking up things to, see about how to get into acting and what I needed to do, and then I started doing the extra work, and seeing how they were on set, and that motivated me to keep going. And I just kept pushing, that and God, like I say this all the time. That night in 2009 when I asked God to hold my hand, I just meant him. I just wanted him to hold my hand for that one night, but he has been holding my hand ever since, and every year, and it's crazy. Every single year of since 2009, my acting career has just gone to a new level, a higher level.
I'm loving it.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Praise God. Yes. You know what,
yeah,
Kevin? Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being transparent and sharing that moment of honesty. And I'm so glad that God put the right people in your life and the right spirit to help you get out of that negative thought and negative thought, mind frame that you were at that moment. And you are a prime example of when you're seeing a negative and you turned it into a positive, and that's beautiful. And I salute you.
well, thank
So
you.
yes, I salute you. And there's just so many other things that I want to ask, but because of time, we're probably going to ask you for a part two, sir. So if you're interested in coming back on
Okay,
for a part two, we would love to have you back
I
on.
definitely will.
Okay, yay. So what we're going to do now is
Yeah, I love.
pivot over into our last minute words. So this is an opportunity for all of us to have the spotlight on each other. So what I mean by that is, for example, if Nadine goes first, she says who she is, she can share business that she has, her books because she's an author, a website, what she's doing, projects, if she has a quote. anything pertaining to you specifically. So that is what the last minute words segment is that we're going to pivot over into. I usually go last because I have sponsors that I want to acknowledge, and also just kind of recap what we've talked about today. So anybody who is willing or wanting to go first, any takers?
I always say ladies first, but I'll go if nobody else wants to go. But
Nadine, you want to go first? Want to lead us?
Yes. All right. So yeah, people haven't heard when it came on the show. Nadine is spelled on the screen Nadean, because usually people spell my name wrong, but it's Nadean Barton. You can find Instagram. My Instagram handle is Nadia B, NADIAB _1202. That's my Instagram, and I'm also a 9 times author. I've written 5 books, and I co-authored 4 others some of them with my very dear friend here, Miss Ciandra. And just a little backdrop, I know we're running out of time, but she's the one who definitely inspired my purpose. Just like how she said in the beginning, she inspired me to start writing. I went through I'm not going to talk about it today because it's not about me, but I went through a very traumatic experience back in 2019 when she was here in Georgia, where I used my pain to position my purpose. And I just wanted to tell my story, share my story with the world. And if it could at least help one person, my first book is called Can a Girl Catch a Break? And I was in her room, her guest room, and crying to her saying, hey, can a girl catch a break? And that's when the book came out, the name of the book. So yeah, thank you, Cece, for inspiring my purpose. And like, if anybody's going through anything, I could say share your story, and you have to definitely use your pain to position your purpose. And beyond that, I'm also a travel agent at Nadine's Travel Oasis. If you need to book a trip, Nadine's Travel Oasis at gmail.com, or just hit me on Facebook. And that's it about me.
Absolutely. And so I'm your girl, Ciandra, the actress. You come here, you get it done, right? I'm gonna, like Nadine, I'm gonna push you. I'm gonna push you, gonna get you out that comfort zone. We're gonna make sure it happens. The only thing I want to leave you with is that Matthew 6:33, y'all. God is in me, and he just always comes up, and he should, right? But Matthew 6:33, right? It says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and all these things will be given unto you." And so I just want to give a big shout out to the guy, Most High. He's amazing. He's allowed all of us to be here on today. You can check me out at www.inspireforpurpose.com. The Lord gave me that. And so I'm here to help you, right? Inspire your purpose. Hallelujah. And so I just want to say it's been a pleasure to be on the show here today. I'm not going to take the full minute, but just big ups to God and any and everything that you're going through, right? Even if you don't know God or you have a God, and many people serve many different gods. For me, I'm just going to be transparent. I serve the one, the only, the living and the true, the Most High. So, there we have it. But so www.inspireforpurpose.com, and you can find out more about me there.
Beautiful. Thank you. Kevin, spotlight's on you.
All right. I'm Kevin J. Stone. I'm an actor, and you can follow me on all social media at the Kevin J. Stone. I do have films that you can stream on Peacock, Tubi, Amazon Prime. Most recent one that came out was The One That Got Away. That's on Peacock, starring Jabray Horges, India Love, and Choice Brown. So you can stream that movie on Peacock. It's doing really well on there, so you should check that out. And you can check out Reindeer Games as well. We talked about that tonight. And I just want to say that God has given everybody a gift. And if you have something that is tugging at your heart and you feel like you can't do it, but it keeps coming back to you, it's coming back to you for a reason, because God is trying to tell you to use that gift. So make sure that you use that gift. Do not allow anybody to get into your mind and tell you that you cannot do it, because it keeps coming back to you for a reason, because he already knows that you can do it because he gave you that gift. So use it. Do not sit on it. We only get one life, and life goes by so fast. I was talking to somebody in the gym today that I went to high school with, and he was like, Kevin, I graduated high school over 20 years ago. He was like, Kevin, you still look the same that you did 20 years ago. And I was just thinking how, wow, that time just flew by. So time goes by so fast, and people are, being taken out of here, and you do not want to be that person that's saying, I wish I did this, or, I regret not doing this. So do that.
Beautiful. Yes. Wow. I am just my heart is happy, and I praise God because this was an amazing show, just like every other show. Another one in the books. Hoy en día TV. The purpose, again, to motivate, inspire, enlighten, educate, and entertain each and every episode. And I know we did that today, and I feel it in my heart. I have the warm and fuzzies, how they say it, right? The warm and fuzzies. And I'm just honored that I get to work and interview just amazing individuals and work alongside amazing individuals. Praise God. And so with that in mind, my name is Yessie Rodriguez, as you can see, host and producer, right? Hoy en Día TV. For those who want to know more about me, I am to the point in my career where you can just go on Google or Internet Explorer or Safari, whichever your favorite internet browser is. Just type in my name, Yesse Rodriguez, and whoop, voila, it'll pull up who I am, what I'm about. Professional actress, model, business owner, podcaster, a little bit of everything, designer. I mean, I don't believe in putting all your eggs in one basket. I'm one of those that I like to try different things, because if you don't try something, how do you know that you are, one, good at it? But you have to keep pushing yourself, though, because if you don't, it's like the example that Kevin used earlier about playing basketball, that professional basketball player, they have to be good at it. They know they like it, right? But you got to push yourself to be that professional basketball player where you're going to get better and better and better. So I challenge you today, if there's something you want to do, if there's something that you want to try, go for it. It is not going to be easy. Trust me, it is not going to be easy. If you want to learn a new language, there's so many applications that you can invest in to learn a new language. It's not going to be easy, but you can do it. All right. And so with that in mind, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm not sure if you all have heard of what is called a Kármán line. The three of you, by chance, do you know what a Kármán line is?
No.
Ha! Beautiful. All right. This is one of my favorites because, one day I was on the plane. This was back in 2011. And I heard the pilot say, "Hey, we are at 35,000 feet and da-da-da." And I'm like, And then coincidentally, I was listening on my earbuds, The Sky's the Limit by 112 and Biggie Smalls. And so that kind of like, what a coincidence that I'm in the sky, right? I'm on the plane, I'm hearing the song. And so I have my analytical brain. I like to search things, and I just love research and all that. I Googled it one day, and there is a such thing called a Kármán line, which is a boundary that separates Earth's atmosphere and outer space. Because I'm one of those, I'm like, the song, it says sky's the limit, but I refuse to say the sky's the limit, because you're technically putting a boundary within yourself. So for those who are saying the sky's the limit as a quote, please stop from saying that, because you're technically putting yourself a boundary. And what that is the line that is defining the Earth's ground or pretty much from the sea level up until what is called outer space. And that is actually 62 miles above sea level. So just as a heads up, each time you're saying the sky's the limit, you're technically psychologically setting yourself. With that in mind, I created this quote back in 2011: "The sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless." So with that in mind, food for thought. Thank you for tuning into Hoy en Día TV. Until next time.
Ciao.